Happy Monday, brothers and sisters, family and friends. This is another beautiful day that the Lord has created. Let us rejoice and be glad in. The Lord Jesus asked this question in Mark chapter 8, verses 36 and 37. For what profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? And the answer to that question is nothing, which leads me to the topic of the day. Forget fame and fortune and focus on seeing God's face and peace. Forget fame and fortune and focus on seeing God's face and peace. We spend so much time trying to get the dream house, the dream car, the dream relationship, the dream partner, the dream job, the dream bank account, the dream social status. All that stuff in the end ain't gonna be worth nothing. We're not gonna be able to buy our way into heaven. We're not gonna get in heaven on our popularity. The only how we're gonna get into heaven is our faithfulness to the Lord and focusing on seeing his face and peace and doing his will. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse number 16 and listen to the wisest man tell the old King Solomon, who had to learn the hard way. The Bible tells us the things that were written beforehand were written for our learning. So I'm trying to help us understand. Let us not make the same mistake that old King Solomon made. And he was the wisest man to ever live. Verse number 16, Ecclesiastes 2 says this. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever, seeing that which now is in the days to come shall all be forgotten. And the rest of that verse goes on to say, and how died the wise man? As a fool. What are you saying, Solomon? King Solomon saying, listen here. We all make the same mistake. We think we're going to live forever. We think we're smarter than some people. We think we got this thing figured out. But none of us is going to live forever. We all going to die. Whether you wise or fool, we all going to die and have to give account of the things that we did in this body. So Solomon said, whether you're wise or fool, we're going to die. And when they close their casket, folks going to remember you for a little while. But after a while, folks ain't going to be talking about you no more. Whether you was wise or fool, they going to say he was so wise. They're not going to be talking about you every day. That's what Solomon's saying. Let's go to the next verse. He says, therefore, I hated life, because the work that I wrought under the sun is grievous unto me. For all is vanity and is vexation of my spirit. What are you saying? Something sound like, listen, now that I'm older and I'm looking back on my life, I did all that work to build all these mansions and houses and this and that and gardens and food forever. I did all this work. It was vanity. I should have been focusing on seeing God's face and peace. But guess what? Because all that material stuff, I can't do nothing with it. When I'm dead, I can't take it with me. I can't use it to get my way into heaven. When I'm dead and gone, I don't know what's going to happen to that stuff. So I done put in all these hours when I could have been focused on saving my soul or trying to help save my soul, trying to gain all these material things. Hint, hint. That's for us to learn that we spend so much time trying to get all these material things that we forget about our soul and helping other people, trying to save their soul because we're too busy trying to gain these material things. But what else you going to tell us in verse number 18, O wise man Solomon? Yea, I hated my labor which I have taken under the sun, because I shall leave it unto the man that shall be after me. He said, listen, now he's hated his life. Like, listen, I done did all this work. Man, I don't know if my son going to be, I'm going to have to leave it to my son. He ain't did no work. But I done did all this work. Of course we want to leave. It's okay to leave it to your son or to your family members. But why did you hate that, Solomon? Let's go to verse number 19. Solomon said, all them years and all that sweat I did out there in that hot sun. He says this in verse number 19. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over my labor where I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This also is vain. Solomon said, listen, I hate this. Listen, when I'm dead and gone, I don't care. I can leave a will all I want to. When I'm dead and gone, them folks going to do whatever they want to do. I ain't got no control over what all that stuff I done did. All the houses, cars, bank account. When I'm dead, I ain't got no control over that. I don't care what my will says. That's why we got families now fighting and torn apart over money and material things. Because, like I said, a person die and go on and the family just fall apart over material things. Sometimes I did all this work, and when I'm gone, I to gain all this stuff. I don't even know if my son and my son's family, if they're going to take care of it or not. All that stuff was vanity. That's why I should just be focusing on seeing God's face and peace. It's okay to want things and have things, but not at the expense of not focusing on God and forgetting your soul salvation. And let's wrap this thing up on a positive note in Matthew chapter 6, verses 19, with the Lord Jesus talking. Matthew 6:19. Jesus says this in Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where the thieves break through and steal. Verse number 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Finally, verse number 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Wherever you put all your time and energy in, that's what you're going to focus on. He said, Solomon said, listen, I did all that work for earthly treasures that's going to get not only be destroyed one day by fire, but I don't even know if the person behind me going to do right by it. We need to live for treasures in heaven that can never be taken away from us. When you get your reward in heaven, nobody can take that from you. Focus on forget fame and fortune, and focus on seeing God's face and peace. I love you. God love you, and have a wonderful, wonderful Monday.